What's good? What's good? What's good? How y'all doing tonight? Krill from Out the Box. I'm back for another live video, and I have a interesting topic that I want to talk about tonight. Oh boy, oh boy. This one really resonated with me because I've been feeling like this for a long time, about hip hop and just the music that I'm passionate about. As you guys hear me say on this platform, I'm passionate about creative and conscious hip hop. And I'm like a little concerned and befuddled as to why hip hop, conscious hip hop, thought-provoking hip hop, why it's so difficult for people to celebrate it, to give it the same kind of love that a lot of the commercial or mainstream hip hop gets. So I really want to dissect this question and find out, like, really, like, why is this the case? There are so many artists that put out really, really good albums throughout the years, and it doesn't get recognized. I hear so much about how bad hip hop is and the negative aspects of hip hop. And there's always critiquing happening about hip hop. But I don't often hear them give that same energy in a positive light to the hip hop that's inspiring, to the hip hop that's uplifting. And I have a concern with that. I definitely have a concern with that. You know, word. So, like, word, shout out Sabrina. Thanks for being here. Word up. Yup. Yeah, man. There's been so much artists that come out regularly, man. And if you guys follow me here on this platform, then I put out a lot of interviews. You know what I mean? Every Friday for this entire year, for the most part, I've been putting out an interview usually like every week. And a lot of the artists that I interview are artists who really put a lot of thought to their music. They have a approach to their music that, one would consider conscious. And I know that's a term that people feel funny about, that this conscious term, they don't want to be labeled conscious. I get it. I understand it, but I really don't have a problem with that term. And I'll explain why I don't have a problem with that term a little later on. But yeah, man, like, I was feeling this way because if you guys are familiar with Arrested Development, they are a group that has won Grammy Awards in the past. They definitely were kind of at the forefront in the 90s in terms of you know, making like Southern hip hop with a message, right? And they just always had this really cool vibe to the group. And they just put out a new album, I think like last week it came out. And I mean, I've been posting about this album, sharing about this album, and I'll be doing a review about this album on my other channel, Out the Box Media on YouTube, which is my music review channel. And it was just a little frustrating to see that they were not getting the recognition, at least not yet, for this album, right? So I'm encouraging folks out there, if you guys appreciate, thought-provoking hip-hop, conscious hip-hop, uplifting hip-hop, then Arrested Development's new album, For the FKN Love, embodies that. The cool thing about their album is they have so many features on this album. They have the producer that produces this album is Configure, but they have features from MC D1. And if you know D1's music, his music is definitely on the more high vibrational tip, the more inspirational, uplifting tip. They have Four Eyes on here. Master Ace is on here. Fat Man Scoop is on here. Clint Taylor does some production on here. Mark Sachs, who's a artist that I interviewed this year from Detroit, that his music is very thought-provoking. Who else? There's so much features on here, man. They got King Crooked on here. They even got the Sugar Hill Gang on here. Freddie Fox is on here. So, I mean, they have a lot of features on this album, and the music sounds really, really feel good. You know what I mean? The only thing is that the album, as of today, I think it's going to be on streaming platforms tomorrow, Friday, but for the entire week it was on Bandcamp, right? And that's another thing. Like, as much as streaming is so accessible for a lot of us and it's so easy to get to the streaming platforms, I think it's still important to support the artists, especially the ones that are doing the music that is on a uplifting level. You know what I mean? So, man, like this topic was important for me. I really, really felt like I needed to talk about this today. And, you know, I know there might not be a lot of people with me live right now. So even if you catch this recording or this video, because it's really a live video, even if you catch it later on and you have responses to this question, I would love to hear what your responses are in the comments section. You know, but yeah, man, this is a concern for me, man. You know, so I'm looking at some of the comments. Word, yeah, no doubt. Go check that out, Sabrina. Sabrina says because they do not want it to really get into the mind and really make some life changes. They want us to stay bound, bro, and not open our mind. They want people to stay down and not be elevated. Word. You see, that's the thing too. It's like, who is the they, right? But I get what you're saying, like, and I get that. Like, I feel like definitely there's other forces at play as to why conscious hip hop is not celebrated, you know. But I want to know, like, what can we do, right? Like, what can we do to overcome all of that, right? Because really the power is in our hands, you know. But at the same time, I'll be remiss not to recognize that there's forces at play that stop us from being able to celebrate and promote the conscious or the uplifting hip hop. You know, I want to say though, I've taken an approach that has always been, ever since I started out the box in like 2009, it's always been about, okay, I'm taking on the position to promote the music myself. And I've always said that I grew up in a time frame where, you know, growing up in the 90s, we had radio stations that would play the diverse hip hop, right? They'd play everything. And I think what happened is when streaming and it became more hands-on, where the artist could literally just upload music to their platforms. And, you know, in that iTunes era where a lot of stuff became digital, and the radio stations started playing more of the commercial music, and they started, and their playlist was less diverse, right? Where you would literally hear the same song repeat you know, at least once every hour, right? That's when you started to see that the diversity was closing in, you know. So that was it. That's when I started seeing the issue with how we were getting access to some of the music, right? The thing though that I feel like we failed at as listeners, as fans, is we didn't grow with the actual times and how music was starting to become accessible to us, right? The reality is that even when Nas was saying hip hop was dead, although I understood his message, even when he was saying that, it was still artists out there that was putting out conscious and thought-provoking hip hop. It's never went anywhere, right? But what started happening is we didn't adapt to the new way of accessing that music. When the radio stations started minimizing their playlists and only catering to a certain sound, right? We didn't get smart enough to say, okay, they're not doing the diversity anymore in terms of the music that they're offering. Now we have to figure out where to go get that, right? Or we have to support the platforms that's doing that. And I think that's something we still struggle with today, right? Like my platform, I'm telling you right now, I could do the ratchet stuff on this platform, but I don't want to because it's not in my integrity to do that, right? I've done videos. I've seen people do videos about a topic that it would literally go, I mean, thousands and thousands of views just off the topic alone, right? Right now I'm doing this and I got like 2 people at this current time watching this. So that should already tell you what you know the issue with this actual subject today, right? Right? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that for Sabrina. You know I'm not. I've been doing this for too long to take that move. You know what I mean? But I get frustrated. I really do. I be frustrated. Sometimes I be like, I don't want to do this no more because this it don't love you back. You could love this culture, but it don't be feeling like it love you back. You know, so and I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to undermine the the few people that support the platform, right? Like for the people that are here right now, I'm not gonna undermine y'all. Like I appreciate y'all 100%, right? And it's y'all that give me the motivation to keep doing this. But I'm telling you, man, like even on my platform, I stopped chasing the big names because for one, it's difficult to get them. Some of the artists that I got years back, right, that's more known now, it's a little difficult because they're more popular now and everybody is trying to get at them. So you know what my wave has been? I've been ahead. My vision has been ahead. I've been trying to reach out to those artists that I truly think is going to be the next big thing, right? And a lot of those artists, um, that I've interviewed on the platform, I'm grateful to be able to interview them, but I truly think that they're very talented, right? And I think that a lot of them have something, if it at the very least they have something creative to offer, you know. So indeed, like I have to do what is true to me, right? But I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't get frustrated at times. You know, I do get frustrated because I feel like we as people, we live in this box of yesterday. We live in this box of like even like the stuff that gets recognized is a bunch of the artists from the 90s and stuff, right? And I grew up in the 90s. I grew up in the era, the golden era that you would consider part of the 90s, right? And a lot of those artists I still have a lot of love and respect for. So, but what I notice is like with things like the verses and a lot of these new shows popping up on YouTube where you get to see a lot of these artists from the 90s, what I notice is that a lot of people are connected to that. And it takes them back to a place that they remember. But you got to remember that that was a time that we were able to get the diversity, right? It was right in front of our face. It was readily accessible to us. Now, those same artists that some of the artists that I've interviewed on this platform and some of the artists that I really respect today, if it was in the 90s, those artists would be on those radio stations. So what happens to those artists now? We got to kind of wait until they get to that mainstream status to for them to get in front of our faces for us to then support them. I don't want to go off too much in a tangent, right? Because I want to stick to the topic. Why is conscious hip hop so difficult to celebrate, right? So let's dissect that topic again. And let me think about that topic again, man, because I don't want to go off too much of a tangent. So why is conscious hip hop so difficult to celebrate? It is difficult to celebrate, in my opinion, because it is not the cool thing. It is not what everyone is talking about. You know, I noticed that people won't, even with movies, right? You ever notice that like a new series could come out on Netflix or a new movie could come out on Netflix, and as soon as somebody posts about it, or you get 3 people to post about it, then the next person goes to go check it out, right? But it's already gotten out there in the atmosphere as something that a lot of people are talking about, right? Like it builds up. So I noticed that people don't go to things unless it's already something that people are already talking about, right? So I think that applies for conscious hip hop too, right? Because there's artists like people wouldn't consider them conscious hip hop, but what they do has a message, right? So like J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar, if they drop an album tomorrow, everybody's going to be talking about it. But there could be an artist that's talking about, that's on the same level as far as the message and the thought-provoking content, and they might not be as known, right? And it could be promotion, marketing, everything. And somebody would see that same artist and not recognize that artist or even click the link to go check out that artist, because you know what? Everybody is not talking about it. I feel like that's what people do. Like they literally see it. They see it and they move on. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a popular name that pops out at you, it's like for whatever reason, they go and they support it. I don't know what to call this, but I feel like it's like, I think it's a form of programming, to be honest. You know, like if it's popular, if everybody else is talking about it, then I should go check it out. But if Krill, who does Out the Box, right, you know, shares it, and you know Krill for what he's been doing, right? You know what I've been doing. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2009. You know me for what I'm doing. You know how passionate I am. You know that since I've been in high school, I've been rhyming. But nah, I'm gonna just gloss over it. I'm gonna just gloss over it because this person that you know can't be knowledgeable enough to offer that to you, right? Because he's not known to everyone. I've been on YouTube before. A lot of people that you see doing interviews now have been on YouTube. I'm gonna leave it at that. Um, but that's just how I feel, man. Like I feel like this topic itself is concerning to me, and I think it's mainly because um what up, Sasko? Thank you for being here. I'm gonna throw that up. People want someone else to tell them it's cool before they feel secure enough to think it's cool. That's true. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. I don't think that they realize that. I don't think people realize that. I think what you're saying is spot on, but I just don't think they realize that. It's one thing to know that that's the case, but then for that to stick in the individual's mind and be like, "Oh, word, all this time I've been doing it the wrong way." You know what I'm saying? Like what sparks the mind to say, "You know what? You're right." Like how like that like you're right. I've actually been doing that. I need to change that. Man, if people can get that message, man, that would change a lot, man. You know, that would change a lot. So when I think about a lot of the interviews that I've done on this platform, I do know that a lot of the artists that I interview and the interviews that I do tend to be really long, right? And I don't know if that's the reason why some people don't check out the interviews. Like and I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I think I've said this before though, but like if you've ever watched any of my interviews, the majority of my interviews, like literally like 99% of my interviews that I've done, especially within this year and last year, I have taken multiple hours to prepare for the interviews. I mean, like I've taken full 7 hours. One time I've prepared for an interview for about 7 hours, constructing questions, sitting with the music, observing it, studying it, critiquing it, asking myself, what's the best question that I want to ask this artist? And I'll turn around and I'll get like 20 views. And I got 3,000 subscribers. Now, I'm not knocking my subscribers, right? I just don't understand how the algorithm works, though. I really don't. Even from a percentage standpoint. How do I get 20 views and I got 3,000 subscribers? I don't understand it. But I'm not knocking the subscribers. Maybe the information, maybe the videos are not getting out to y'all, right? And I know most people are not gonna check it out, just by numbers and statistics. But when you put so much effort into things and you don't see the results, it does concern me. Yeah, I'm definitely passionate, man. Like I never used to be this. Like nowadays, I'm starting to come out and speak more. I was very, very behind the scenes a lot in the past. But as you grow, you get older, and your love for hip hop continues to grow, which is the case with me. I had a 24/7 internet radio station years ago, you know, and I would play a lot of independent hip hop and soul artists. And I must have had the station for roughly about 4 years. There was a moment where I shut it down and I brought it back up. And I had to shut it down because, it was taking a lot out of my time. And of course, my goal was to eventually be able to make money from it, but I wasn't making anything from it. And it was taking a lot of my time. I love doing it though, but it was just taking so much of my time because I was committed to the station in a way where I always wanted to update the station with music. I actually have a radio background, you know what I mean? Like a degree in radio, like so I love being able to share new music with people, and it just didn't work. But honestly, if it was something I could get paid for, I would start that radio station tomorrow. Like that's the honest truth. If I get paid for it, I would start that station tomorrow. Right? And I would reach out to folks who want to be involved and who believe in it just like me. You know what I'm saying? But it's streaming, so like I don't know if people are about curating their own list now. They got their own playlists and stuff, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it worked, you know what I mean? I threw up the Cash App and the PayPal for anyone that would like to support. No pressure. If you would like to support the platform, a brother could use the support to kind of help the platform going, because it doesn't pay for itself. But no pressure, whatever you could provide. But yeah, man. So going back to this topic, man, like this topic hit home for me because I just feel like there's a lot of artists out there that I really believe needs to be heard. I really believe they need to be recognized, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't get there, you know. Yo, good looking, Michael. Wow, man, that means a lot, man. Wow, man, that means a lot. Yo, man. Listen, that comment right there, man, that means a lot, Michael. Word up. Like, and that's the stuff that motivates me. I ain't gonna fret, man. Like, word is born. Like that motivates me because you guys, when you say something like that, Mike, like it shows me that you get me. Like I sometimes be feeling like I'm in a box by myself. You know what I mean? Even though my show is called Out the Box, man. You know what I mean? Like I be feeling like I'm just like on an island by myself, and like people don't, people can't even understand how I feel. Like, you know, yeah, I'm definitely passionate about this, man. You know, I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm gonna keep it real, like 100 with y'all. Like when I had launched my Out the Box Radio 24/7 station some years ago, the first time I shut it down, I was going through some situations where I had to make that decision for family reasons. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I did not want to shut it down, even though I wasn't making money from it. And that realization of having to shut it down brought tears to my eyes. I say that to just show you that I really love this stuff, yo. I really have a soft place for good, creative, quality, thought provoking, conscious hip hop. I listen to all kinds of hip hop. I listen to all kinds of hip hop. But in recent years, I've made a decision to focus and promote artists who have a creative and thought provoking approach to their music. And I've made that decision because this music is important to me. This music is not something that I play with. This music has the ability, and any music for the most part, but it has the ability to create a negative effect on people. But it also has the ability to create a positive, inspirational, and an uplifting effect on people. And I know that. You know why I know that? It's because it's done it to me. One of the reasons why I chose to change my diet years ago was because of Dead Prez's song Be Healthy. And live a healthier lifestyle. KRS-One put out a song the other day, and he never ceases to amaze me, first and foremost. He never ceases to amaze me. He continues to release music consistently, like almost every year. And he continues to educate and uplift in his music. Why is it that when KRS-One puts out an album, it's not the thing that everyone is talking about or most people is talking about on these same platforms like YouTube? And he's been putting out music every year. But no, we stuck in the past. The only time we could appreciate these artists is when we go back to a time frame where everybody was rocking with it. And I understand the nostalgia. I get with it too. I value it too. But what about now? Thank you, Sabrina. I appreciate that. Listen, I don't do this for myself. If I was utilizing this platform solely for me, I would have been stopped. I made mad sacrifices to keep this platform going. And I don't want to, this is not about, I don't want this, I don't want this to be a thing where y'all feel like I'm bitter, right? Like, I'm not bitter. Like, I'm not, like, I'm gonna be all right. But I know what the value is of this music, man. And y'all know it too, you know? Why is it that, and I'm not singling out Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, but why is it that the WAP song got so much recognition? We all talked about it from a, from a critical perspective. Some people even applauded it, right? And when a conscious hip hop artist puts out a song or an album, even the ones that we know, right, it doesn't get that kind of recognition. I used to always hear this argument that back in the days, people used to get pissed off, not pissed off, but they never liked that. They had issues with the term conscious, right? There was conscious MCs that had the issue with the term. And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't have an issue with the term is because what's wrong with being conscious? The issue was that people didn't want to be stigmatized by it. But guess what? Who is doing the stigmatizing? You got a problem with being conscious because you don't want to be stigmatized by it. But who is doing the actual stigmatizing? It ain't you, the artist, that's doing the stigmatizing. It ain't the brother or sister out there that has the knowledge enough to know that it's nothing wrong with being conscious, right? Who's doing the stigmatizing? It's the people that's frowning upon it. It's not anything wrong with you, the conscious artist. It's nothing wrong with you. You were doing it the right way all along. The problem is the people that are criticizing it. That's like the word hotep. It's all of a sudden turned into this bad word. When if you do the knowledge on the word hotep from the ancient Kemetic history, ancient Egyptian history, so you understand, it just means peace. I come in satisfaction. But now hotep, they're going to put the N word next to the word hotep. And now it has this negative. So what we doing? We letting people control words for us? Is conscious a bad word? Let's go to the dictionary and look up conscious. Is it a bad word? But, you know, I understand these artists too. Like they got to disassociate from the word because it's affecting them. It's affecting their pockets. And people got to live and eat. So I get it. But when we frown upon the word conscious, what we do is we further stigmatize those artists. Because even if you don't use the word conscious, if you listen to their music and you're like, oh, well, you know, the argument I used to hear a lot was I don't want to listen to that music when I'm in the club. Like as if the club is 95% of our lives. Since the pandemic hit, we wasn't going in the clubs. What happened now? Even if you want to say, oh, I don't want to listen to that when I'm in the club, what fraction of your life is spent in the club? What fraction of your life is spent in the club? Hold on, let me think about it. You got to get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you know what I'm saying? You if you got kids, you take your kids to school, you go to work, right? You know, you have lunch while you at work, whatever, you come home, you spend time with your family, right? And you do this, you know, Monday through Friday if you work like a typical 9 to 5, right, in the weekday. And then Saturday or maybe Friday night you go to the club, right? And that's if you go into the club every week. You go to the club probably what, once out of the month, right? And and what percentage of that is your life? So you telling me the music that you want to listen to reflects a very small fraction of your life, and that's all you want to listen to? To me, the music you should be listening to, right, mostly should be the music that reflects and relates to the majority of your experience in life. But we let people dictate for us what we should be listening to. What's good, brother Mark? Yup, fans rather be entertained than inspired. And you know what? I hear that, man. You know, like the verses that we saw the other day and stuff, like the type of stuff that was happening on stage, it was like strip club on stage. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I'm sorry if I felt like I'm on a rant tonight, man. It's just my passion, man. Like I be feeling like this, but I don't be expressing it much. But you know, I felt like it was fitting because of the topic tonight, man. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do, man. I don't know. I felt for Arrested Development today, though. Like when I heard that their album wasn't getting the recognition, you know, that I believe it deserved. But it's gonna be on digital streaming tomorrow, I believe. I think I heard Speech say that. So definitely, if you can support it, definitely, Bandcamp is a great way to support artists, man. You know, I was watching an interview where David Banner was on our Nori show. I don't know how old the interview was, but he was just talking about the importance of artists still, selling their music, and making money from their art, you know. And I know people got things going on, man, and not everybody's able to afford. But if it's your favorite artist, I think it doesn't hurt to go that extra mile and purchase the music from them, especially if their music is on Bandcamp. You know, you know. Word, man. Yo, Sabrina, I was watching the verses, and when I saw that joint, I was like, yo, but I wasn't surprised, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, that's what they usually do. You know what I mean? Like, when I was in college and I was watching them artists, man. I was like, that's what they do. Like I was surprised initially, and then I was like, I wasn't surprised again. But it be like, for instance, like when we gonna get a conscious hip hop versus? I spoke about that, I think, in one of the videos I did recently. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there are people out there that may want to see it, but is it going to be enough for the verses to pull off? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be enough, man. You know, word. But yeah, man. Why is conscious hip hop so difficult to celebrate? Hmm. Why is conscious hip hop so difficult to celebrate? Conscious hip hop is difficult to celebrate because, again, we're caught up. We're caught up, to me, in a programming. We only want to go with what other people tell us is hot. The influencers or the big names, you know what I mean? I'm not a big name yet, guys. I mean, I got 3K subscribers, but when I go live, I don't even get a fraction of that. I'm not, but I do recognize that there are people out there that respect and appreciate what I do. The only question I have, though, is like, for the people who are familiar with what I do on Out the Box, how much of you all out there, and if you guys are live, you could comment on this, and if you're catching this after the live, you could also comment in the comments. How many of you are like, when you find out about me, is it putting you on? Is it the first time where you're like getting put onto all these new artists, or were you kind of aware of like a lot of these independent artists already, and it just was kind of up your alley? I'm curious to know that, because I have reason to believe, and I could be wrong. I feel like a lot of the people that come on the platform, they already like tapped into the underground and the independent hip hop scene, and they know about a lot of these creative and conscious hip hop artists. But I'm curious to know how many people are coming onto the platform and they are finding out about a bunch of new artists that they didn't even know, and it's enriching, their experience. Um, that would be cool to know, because that also is motivational for me too. Word, word. I hear you, Sabrina. There's too much knowledge in conscious hip hop. Some cannot handle and do not want the real. Word. I think so too, man. It's a lot of knowledge, you know. And why does knowledge get tossed down like it's a bad thing? Like that's what I can't understand. And that's why I posed the question, why is conscious hip hop so difficult to celebrate? Because we should be celebrating that which is uplifting us, you know? And I'm not saying it doesn't get celebrated at all, but I think in the totality of it, like, with it seems like we'll celebrate the negativity, or the ratchetness. Oh, that's lit. Oh, that's lit, yo. That's you know what I'm saying, yo. That's lit. Yo, I ain't never heard nobody say a conscious hip hop artist was lit, but all the crazy stuff is lit. You know what I mean? Word, word. Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely forces at play. I'm not even going front. Like I know they out there. You know what I mean? And I just don't want to be marginalized by them, like I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm too independent thinking, like maybe I recognize that, like I just feel like we got to wake up, man. Like we got to stop. And this is bigger than hip hop, you know what I mean? Shout out to Dead Press. This is bigger than hip hop. Like I think this goes across the board for like a lot of stuff. Like people are just do stuff because the multitude is saying it or the media is saying do it. Like they won't think for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I think this happens, with with hip hop too, Mos Def had a line, and I've said this a number of times, on the Black on Both Sides album. He said, people ask him, where's hip hop going? Or where do you think hip hop is going? And, he said, hip hop is going wherever the people is. Whatever the people are into is what they're going to be. That's what's going to reflect hip hop. And that's true. You know, I realize that I say hip hop a lot, but a lot of people's perspective on hip hop is a negative thing, especially elders. There's a lot of elders, you talk about hip hop, they just see it as a negative thing. So here I am talking about hip hop, and I'm able to talk about it in a positive light because I choose to focus on the uplifting side of hip hop. So I don't really even I block out all the negativity, even though I know it exists, but I know what's gonna counter it is the conscious hip hop that people don't like to label. Look, we don't have to label it conscious hip hop. We don't have to say that. But how else are we supposed we could, like, that's why I use the word thought provoking, uplifting, inspiring. I use those words, right? I'll use conscious, but I'll use other words. But I believe that even if we would have used the word uplifting hip hop and that word became stigmatized, people will reject using that word too. My thing is, we have to examine, is the word a bad word? And if it's not a bad word, what's wrong with using it? Word, I hear you, man. Word, Mark. I don't know if other art forms do that. Encouraging it to be dumbed down. Yeah, man. I don't know. I know I'm just one person, but there's a lot of other sites out there that's doing their thing, that's promoting creative and conscious hip hop, you know. Yeah, that's a good point, Sabrina. Although I don't listen to a lot of Christian hip hop, I respect it, yo. I respect it. And honestly, I'll play it on my platform. If it's uplifting, I don't care. Like, I don't care what religion or what you ascribe to. You know, if the message is uplifting and inspiring, I'm going to play it. You know why? Because it might not be my cup of tea in terms of what I resonate with, but it might resonate with somebody else that might, might ascribe, subscribe to that religion or that belief system, and it may have a positive impact on their lives. You see, it's about the message. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. I just there's a group by the name of Eshon Burgundy and Zara Royalty. But it's not a group, it's a husband and wife duo. They put out an album. I did a review on the album. It's such a good album. And they're coming from the perspective of it's called It Is What It Is. And it's they're coming from the perspective of giving recognition and praise to the Most High, the Hebrew Most High. And it's a great album. Rich production, thought-provoking message, inspiring, uplifting. When I say rich production, the production is rich. Yo, listen, man, I'm not even gonna front. Like, I just want to shout out some artists, man. My brother Jay Swiss does such good music, man. I've had him on the platform. My brother Cy Marshall Law, Sky Zoo, Substantial, another dope artist that's been doing this thing, conscious. And I know some of them don't want to be labeled conscious, so I don't want to label them that, right? But their music is thought-provoking, right? It makes you think, and it's relatable. You could feel like, okay, I could relate to that. You know what I mean? Word. I've heard good things about Lecrae. I'm gonna go check him out. I mean, I've heard him before. You know what I mean? Word. Yeah, man. I don't really care what like whatever religion you ascribe to or you resonate with. It's all good with me. Like, is the message uplifting? And honestly, although I like beats and stuff, if you listen to a lot of my interviews and stuff, you know that I'm a lyric head, right? So I like lyrics. So the beat don't even gotta be all that. If the message is there in the lyrics, I'm gonna support it, because I understand how powerful the music is. The music could have a positive effect on someone. It could also have a negative effect. God, I've seen it. I've seen it. So I'm at the stage where I'm older now. I'm more mature, and I'm delicate with the music. I don't want to be sharing an abundance of music that's low vibrational, that's having a negative impact on people. At the very least, the music got to be creative. It got to be, there got to be some type of thought, that's put into it that makes somebody reflect, like, oh wow, he put that in some really clever words, and that made me think about that. Like, like, but I'm not like everybody else. A lot of people want to be spoon-fed music. you know. And don't get me wrong, I like a lot of the mainstream music too, but you know where my passion is, yo. You know? Yeah. Thanks for shouting out some of those artists. I'm gonna go check them out too. See, that's the other thing too, and that's what I love about this platform is like I always say, like, as much artists as I feature on this platform, like I don't know everything. It's no way for me to know everything, you know. So you guys sharing artists that y'all know about, that's important to me, you know. That's important to me. Occasionally, what I'll do too is I'll go on my Twitter. My Twitter's Out the Box Media for those that don't know, and I'll make a post saying, "Hey, is there any artist you think I should interview on the platform?" And people be responding. You know, I'm not able to. You know, I'm not able to satisfy everybody's request, but I'm open. You know, I'm open. You know, yeah, man. And I know sometimes my feelings on music and hip hop might be a little far fetched for some people. You know, I know some people is just like they not into music like that. So it's like I'm speaking a foreign language to them. Like, what? Like, why are you so passionate about this? All these other things going on in the world, you so passionate about hip hop? I know it be people like that, you know what I mean? Like elders and stuff be like, yo, it's like, what are you talking about? Like all this other stuff going on in the world, and you that passionate about hip hop? Yeah, I know what I feel like this is my calling though. Like I feel like I'm here to do this, you know. So that's why I'm so passionate, you know. You know. So yeah, you know, I'm into the music, man. Like I've been loving music for a long time, you know, but it's only in recent years where I started realizing like, yo, I don't want to be the person to sit down and complain about music. I want to do something about it, you know. And I've gotten a lot of love and a lot of support from people who say, yo, Krill, I love what you do, man. Keep doing it, keep pushing that hip hop. And I definitely appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that, you know. But I sometimes wish my reach could be bigger, you know. But I know that the path that I've chosen hasn't been a path that's been so easily for people to gravitate to, you know. A lot of the artists that I've interviewed this year are not like really big artists. And I ain't gonna front. Some artists, I'm gonna be honest with you, throughout this whole year, I could have went a little bit harder to go get certain names on the show. I could have. I honestly could have. I could have been on some, yo, let me try to get this name and this name. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I started getting bored, yo. I'm gonna be honest. I started getting bored. I was getting more excited. I was getting more excited by going after artists that I thought was dope that a lot of people didn't know. So imagine that. I jeopardized the platform getting bigger because I wanted to go after the underdog. I could have went after other names. I'm not saying I would have gotten the names, but I could have put a lot of emphasis on it and a lot of energy on it. And maybe I would have gotten some because it's all numbers, you know, like if I hit up 20 people that's famous or well known, I don't know, I might get one or two out of that. But it's boring after a while when everybody else is interviewing these cats. It's exciting to discover new music and be like, oh wow, like, oh word, I didn't know you did this. Like, I wanna share this. Like it's because it's a selfless thing for me, right? it's the furthest from being selfish. It's like, oh, word, like I love this. Oh my, nah, I need you on the show. I would love to have you on the show. Because other people got to hear this. And then I come to the channel and I got like 15 views. But it's all good. I truly believe that years from now it's gonna make more sense. It might not make sense right now, but years from now it'll make more sense. You know, but yeah, man, like it wasn't exciting me anymore. It wasn't exciting me anymore. I just felt like, well, okay, you did this. And sometimes I don't even like to do interviews with artists that I've seen already on multiple platforms. I don't even like to do interviews with artists I've seen. I'm like, man, and he already did mad interviews. I've already seen him. But if I really, really like the artist, I don't care how many platforms the artist been on, because I'm gonna do my interview and I know I'm gonna do it special. You know, that's one thing I've never worried about having to compete with other podcasters and interviewers out there, because I do me. I don't even watch a lot of other podcasts to see how they do interviews and stuff. I might do it once or twice just to get some more information from the artist, but like I really just hone in and do me. That's one thing about me. I've never been a competitive person to other people. You know, I've had people in the past want to compete with me. Like literally they come to me and they're like, yo, you know, I want to compete with you and stuff. And I'd be like, it doesn't make sense to me, because I never ever cared to compete with anybody else. I like competing with myself, actually. I try to compete with myself to be better than I was before. So I'm not with that competition against other people. You know, it's never about that. It's about how much better can I get, you know? And that's what really drives me, you know? So, but I said that, you know, to say in regards to me not wanting to interview artists that maybe have done a bunch of interviews, is because I'm like, all right, a lot of people know them now. So they're out there, you know, the job was done. Now it's my job to help those that people don't know. You know what I mean? And honestly, man, like if I could get paid for doing this like regularly, like I would do it. You know what I mean? Because it will motivate me to do more interviews. Like the amount of people that hit me up for interviews that I really would like to interview them, but I gotta pick and choose. It's like I gotta pick what I like the best, because it's an investment I'm making too. So when I interview an artist, I gotta be invested. It gotta make me feel good, right? But it doesn't mean that these artists are not good artists, you know. But because I'm not getting paid to do these interviews, you know, I have to find joy in it. You know, there's this year alone, you know, I'm getting ready to close out this year. I'm like exhausted because doing an interview and putting it out every Friday, there's a lot of work that comes with the preparation and all of that, you know, and it gets exhausting, you know. And even me coming up on this platform tonight, it's more of a freestyling thing, so it's not like I got to do a lot of preparation, you know. But I feel like I got to do this too to kind of help grow the platform, you know. And I'm appreciative that the individuals that's here right now, you know, thank y'all for rocking with me. It means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? While I also talk about that, I do want to mention that tomorrow we're gonna have a panel at 9:30 tomorrow. So come back to the channel, because me, my brother Mark, and my brother A Level, and I don't know if my other brother Jay Red will be joining us, but we're gonna be talking about DJ Ralph McDaniels and the importance of his legacy. If you guys have gotten a chance to see the documentary, Nas's director debut as a director. He directed this documentary on DJ Ralph McDaniels, or VJ Ralph McDaniels, who is the founder and the person responsible, the creator of Video Music Box, which is one of the first music channels I watched when I was growing up back in the 90s, before I even knew about MTV and BET. That's where I went to go check out music videos. That's where I got put on the Tribe Called Quest and Busta Rhymes and and it's so many different artists, man. Like, I learned about artists through Video Music Box. So it was good to see him get his flowers with this documentary. And we're going to talk about the importance of him tomorrow night at 9:30. So please, please, if you're able to tune in tomorrow night, come on in, because we're going to have a panel. There's going to be at least 3 of us on there talking about the legacy of DJ Ralph McDaniels, right? And why, his flowers are so well deserved. He's been doing it for so long. Oh yeah, man, we're gonna chat that up tomorrow. Pardon me on my yawning. My apologies. But I'm not gonna stay too much longer. I thank each and every one of you for joining me on this stream. I thank you for resonating with the topic today and having discussion with me, man. It means a lot. And I'm gonna keep doing this, and keep putting out that quality and that thought-provoking consciousness within hip-hop, man. It's very important that we continue to spread the word on that, and hopefully we find a way to think for ourselves and not be so quick to just go with what everybody else is doing, right? And just ask yourself, like, does it resonate with me? And then make decisions on what type of music you're going to support from there, So yeah, big ups to all the artists that I interview on the platform and that I support and I promote. If you are familiar with, if you're just finding out about me and you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely feel encouraged to subscribe to the channel. I'll be trying to do more videos, more regularly. Usually like around 10 o'clock at night, I'm gonna try to do a video, or between 9 and 10. But also I'm on Instagram at Out the Box Media, so I post a lot of new music there. So if you are on Instagram, go ahead and follow me. Feel encouraged to follow me there, because almost every day I post new music. So if you're looking for new music, I do this thing where I hashtag it dope release LP or dope release EP or new music, or even soul music. I'll do dope release soul. I'll hashtag it, and then I'll post the titles, the artist and the title, and then the artwork of the album. All right. So yo, man, I'm gonna get off of here. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I ain't expect to be here for an hour. I kind of stayed a little longer, but you guys were here, so I said let me stay a little bit longer too on this topic, and maybe we'll revisit this topic again. Maybe there'll be a part 2 to this. But I would love to hear more feedback on this. And for those that did give their feedback, thank you. Thank you so much. And you can leave your comment on this after the live is in the comment section of the video. All right. But yo, I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow night. I'll be back here 9:30 with my panel. We'll be talking about the legacy of DJ Ralph McDaniels and Video Music Box. So stay tuned. I also have a new interview out tomorrow that you guys will see sometime by midday tomorrow, if not midday, sometime. Definitely before 10 o'clock, 9:30 tomorrow when we do the show. So yeah. Definitely I have a new artist interview tomorrow that I think you guys are gonna like. So go look out for that, and subscribe to the website too. It's free to subscribe to the website, outtheboxmedia.com. So I could update you whenever I post new stuff. So yeah, yes, love and blessings to you and yours too, Sabrina. Thank you. And shout out to everybody that tuned in, man. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Peace, love, and light. Take it easy.